stories. That is the most real thing I have ever experienced in my life. I got fired from working at Red Robin for doing that. When do we get to bury him in a thing and jerk off? I don't know. I'd say I could take on 311.
Every time.
I could take on 311.
In a lot of ways, Big Boy's never left. I agree.
I agree.
Yep. Yeah. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Two Hippies, One Drunk podcast. This show runs a little bit different than most, as in we switch hosting roles each week. I'm your host this week, Tyler Charles, and joining me as always is Scott Ryan.
What's up?
And Eric Fady.
Hello.
This week we are going to be. I'm just gonna kind of get into it, get through this stuff, and then we'll start talking about the episode.
Yeah.
So we are covering the 2000. Work. What?
That's how intros work.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Not ours.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't
mention our promotion, but if you want some free art or a free tarot reading, give us a review, like us on iTunes.
And if you do have to go share it. Like if you give us a 5-star review on iTunes and screenshot it and send to us, Tyler does really, really good art. At this point, people are buying it from him on a regular basis, so you could get that one of those for free. Scott has been doing a lot more tarot card readings, and I heard he had someone the other day that took one up, and they found out and pretty much realized you were doing it because of this podcast. So point is, these things are definitely really cool things that all you got to do is go to iTunes and give us. It really just a review. I guess it's got to be 5-star. You got to give it 5 stars.
Give us 5 stars.
You don't even have to feel that it's a 5-star show. You just have to do it and screenshot it and send it to us. So, okay.
And then, you get some free shit. So this episode, we are covering the comedy, the 2004 comedy, which I wanted to mention this too. I thought it was weird in the description on the thing, like the category, it was comedy and sex comedy. Like under IMDb, which
it definitely does.
That. Yeah, very much so checks out.
A lot of generic mid 2000s still. In the early 2000s, we were still able to show gratuitous titties.
Yeah, no problem.
It was still part of why maybe somebody was going to see the movie.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely thought about.
I went to go see this. Anyway, okay. Yeah. This movie stars Scott Malkowitz as Scott Thomas. The director is Jeff Schaefer, known for being the producer on Seinfeld, a writer on Cat in the Hat, and a producer on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Really slumming it.
Yeah, wow. Right.
He was in charge. The other ones, he was like, a producer.
Sure.
He either did this because you know what? I actually am gonna. I'll let Tyler say what he's gonna say because I don't want to ruin my opinion yet.
Okay, so here's the plot summary of this movie, the 2004 hit Eurotrip. After a brutal breakup at a high school graduation party in Ohio, teen Scott Thomas, played by Scott Malkowitz, goes to a party in which a song is played by the guy who his ex-girlfriend cheated on him with, called Scotty Doesn't Know. And it's all
by the way, I should say real quick, I know you're kind of doing the intro. I have always, and I'm not some emo dude. I don't give a fuck if, for the most part, cheating. I make jokes about wives cheating on each other all the time. So I don't really care. I'm not some guy who's trying to get, social points.
You basically lost your virginity in a cheating situation.
Yes, with a person I met on Craigslist. Right, exactly. Yeah. So I don't care per se.
About this before. That wasn't a secret.
It wasn't a secret. It's just
no. But having said that, I have always hated this fucking song. I think there's something about, to me, it's different in your own life. Like, if cheating is wrong, and I get it, and I've been a part of people that I've actually never cheated, but I've been a part of the person that they were cheating on someone with. But I have something about the song has just always bugged me. Like, I fucking hate that it's like glorified in such a way for some reason. I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, I'm not some, try not to use.
Well, let's let Tyler finish his intro.
Yeah, because we'll get into this.
As a Scott, have some thoughts on it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Okay, so That all happens. He goes to that party. That shit's crazy. And then Scott goes home drunkenly and mistakes his longtime pen pal, Mika, for a man and tells her off, only to realize it's a beautiful woman that has been talking to him for the last few months. So he goes on a quest across Europe to find his sexy German pen pal, Mika, played by Jessica Bohors. Joining him are his brainless buddy Cooper, played by Jacob Pitts, and their twin, and a pair of twins that they meet up with in Paris, played by Michelle Trenchberg and Travis Wester. Scott's journey does not turn out easy, however, and the backpackers become embroiled in many farcical situations as they hop from country to country to find Scott's true love. Okay, there we go.
I always love it when they say that, and hilarity ensues, or
Yeah.
It didn't even kind of try to pronounce Michelle Trachtenberg's name right.
Is that Trachtenberg?
It's definitely not
Trenchenberg. It has a CH. It's
It does have a
Trenchenberg.
CH.
It does. It does have a CH.
I have recently
I
found
promise you
out.
it does. It's
I've recently
I
found.
know it does. I'm saying
Oh.
there are plenty of words with CH that are not.
Well, how would you pronounce it?
Trachtenberg? I
Trachtenberg?
almost guarantee you. Yeah, it's Trachtenburg. I've definitely Googled that as a 12-year-old. I'll tell you that much.
That is fair. That is fair. She was definitely a draw for me for this movie.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So, how do you want to do this? By the way, do you want us to give our
So you
opinions
can kind of
first?
jump around. Yeah. Give me your first impressions.
What do you guys think? My opinion of this
I
movie would be?
personally feel like you definitely liked it better than Dune, and honestly, maybe had some fun with this revisiting like an early 2000 film, but understand that it doesn't hold up well now.
What do you think my opinion is, Scott? Of this, like, would you think I would think of watching this movie?
I think, weirdly enough, because I'm generally probably the most critical of kind of broad mainstream stuff, I would normally think I liked it the least, but I do have a weird nostalgic connection to this movie. I still felt watching it now, so I feel like you're probably at the bottom of...
Maybe that is the case.
Like,
Dude, honest to God, like, I don't think it's nostalgia. I don't think it's nostalgia for like, oh, remember when movies were like this and they had little pop bands from my childhood.
Yep.
I loved it, man. I thought it was fucking good in the end, dude. Like,
Fair enough.
I really did. Like, I enjoyed watching it. And here's the thing about
I enjoyed revisiting it myself.
I'll give a little opinion and then we can kind of go from there. But like my overall opinion of it was, for the movie that it was, for one, by the way, when Scott or when Tyler mentioned this at first, I honestly had always heard it was a movie. I thought it was just a shitty, like, cheap sequel to like that like Road Trip or whatever with Tom Green. I just thought, oh, Eurotrip and Tom Green's not even in it. You know when they used to always do the good movie that made money,
and
then there'd be
just because of Road Trip.
But it's not technically a sequel. They don't just bring in like one
nobody's
third-rate character from the first movie and just connect it. No, but the thing is, for what it was, honest to God, you know it is. You know it's kind of corny. You know there's generic, like, yes, they just go from one crazy adventure to another. Yeah. But to me, it did not seem that crazy. Like, you know what I liked about it, for example? I liked that the guy who got his heart broken. Yes, it took him a little pushing to get on the trip. But sometimes when they do those movies, guy gets his heart broken from some girl, and now he goes on some crazy adventure to find himself again or find a new girl.
Yeah.
That guy is always, like, to me, way fucking over the top, gloomy. Like, he doesn't even want to do anything. His friends have to literally drag him.
One of the things I said is I love that the protagonist is fun. Like, I really like that he actually had fun.
Yes, he was sad. Yes, he was heartbroken. But it
wasn't mopey.
Right. I hate it when that dude is just like, he doesn't want to do anything. And it's just like, absolutely. Okay. So I liked that. And I just, overall for the movie it was, I thought it was pretty good. I thought there was humor that was obnoxious a little bit, but it's a teenage movie. Like, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, like a 12-year-old's like wet dream.
And there wasn't as many overtly homophobic jokes as I thought there would have been. There were
me too.
Homophobic jokes, but I don't even know if I call them homophobic jokes to me, because I think back then they weren't
No, honestly, when
It's like, hey, bro,
the
you're
main
gay.
character
I
Scott,
don't care that you're gay, but you're
when
gay
Cooper,
Yeah.
at time.
Yeah.
Cooper,
It wasn't like
Cooper
over
was
the top
okay
just,
with him.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tyler.
Just Cooper was okay with him being gay. I thought that was really like odd to me that he was so. He's like, it's okay. You can come out. Like,
Right.
I know the joke is that he's not gay, but it's like when he told his best friend that he's gay, he was very open about it.
Yeah, it wasn't
Pretty
a
chill.
bunch of just, what are you, a fucking homo?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, and the thing is, I actually don't think that movie is it somehow being progressively ahead of its time.
No.
I really
no, I
think
don't.
that what it is more so, and honestly, it is the saving grace of this movie, is that this movie actually does like its characters and it's very
Yeah.
kind-hearted. It's not
Yeah.
a mean-spirited movie.
that makes
No.
sense. That's a good point.
And that is honestly, when I was thinking about things I liked about it and things I didn't like about it, it's like this is the linchpin. This is the thing that makes this watchable and enjoyable.
That's a good point. Like even usually when you have like the
feel
douchey guy, like that douchey guy like from American Pie was like
Cooper, yeah.
Stifler, right? And
Yep.
stuff. And it's just, but the douchey guy was still a nice guy. In fact, he wasn't even douchey, but I just mean like he's the crazy quote unquote guy that usually is going to be the one that's like, you know,
And
literally
honestly,
like,
the Always Sunny
I'm-
in Philadelphia format. It's you got the looks, the brains, the
Yeah,
wild
yeah.
card, and the useless girl.
right.
You absolutely do. I was gonna say no. Cooper first. I was like, oh, I'm not. I don't remember exactly. I remember thinking you were funny when I was a teenager, but I'm
thought
not
he
gonna
was
like
gonna
you
be
now
awful.
because he was about to kiss his girlfriend. Like
Yeah,
straight up in the first fucking
Yeah,
like
I always think
scene,
that's kind of just,
I was just like,
well, go
yeah,
ahead.
it's playful, but that's insane. to be
No,
doing.
I was also gonna say I agree with you. I was ready to be like, oh god, he's gonna be an obnoxious, awful presence the entire film. Too, because
Not
you
the
got
case.
that initially, and then literally the next scene is, I would argue, by far the worst scene in the movie, and it's where he's
With the
with that
crying?
topless girl in the hot
Oh.
tub.
Oh,
And
I would argue it's the best
oh,
scene in the
God,
movie.
come on, you're lift your finger. And,
Eric says this is a high.
yeah, I had to rewatch
It's
it a few
not
times just to really, for the integrity of this show.
I
watched a
needed to
few
make
extra-
sure there wasn't any syrup on her boob. Or
Yeah.
whatever he said.
It's
Sap.
just, it's
No, I get
not,
it.
It's not funny. It's so
I agree.
strained. It's just,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
it was
an
dumb.
absolute nadir of like
Yeah.
2000.
I mean, even the fact that okay, so there's this huge party going on, and next door there's
Right.
another little party
I know.
going on in the
Yeah.
back of this guy's house.
I know.
So
It
wouldn't
was,
they be at the other party where Scotty doesn't know is being played?
yeah. So I know what you're saying. I mean, you know, obviously it's not needed. I think for that's one of those ones though, for the time, it just was would have been a very normal scene in a movie like that. But I know what you're saying. That one it's the only one out of all of them to me that there's a lot of tits in this movie, but I actually think, and I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I actually think they weren't obnoxious other than that scene. You're right. Honestly, I think the other ones were, you know, you go to Amsterdam, you're not going to, like, of course you're going to have a scene where there's some prostitutes and stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know, in that type of movie. But you're right. I mean, yes, that scene was not needed. It didn't add anything. Now, again,
Scott,
I happen to like
it.
it.
I definitely was not upset about it happening. Honestly, it's too rare.
I am, and I feel the exact opposite. I totally disagree. You know, if I
It does put a halt in the movie.
Yeah, the thing is, and if I want to watch porn, I'll watch porn. What am
Well,
I?
that's a good point. I
You
mean,
don't need to
You
be.
know what I mean?
Isn't there
There's so
websites that like pick the specific scenes out of movies
absolutely.
from that shit?
yeah, it's called Pornhub.
Yeah, porn. Just a regular old porn site. I was going to ask you, Scott, what is your relationship with Scotty Doesn't Know?
Okay, well, let me get to that in 1 second because
Okay,
I want to get back to this the porny
The
shit
porn
for a
thing.
second,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I do feel like and I kind of have said this before too, but the thing I hate about scenes like that more than anything else too is that you can't there's no the only situation is watching it by yourself, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, she's hot. I like looking at her.
Right. I know where you're going with
But,
this.
like, if you're watching it with your family, if you're watching it with
Oh,
your boys,
no.
if you're watching
This
it
is
with
not
your
a
girl,
family film. This is not,
I don't
if
care
you're
if
with your
watching it
girl,
with
I
your boys,
feel like...
if you're watching it with your girl, no matter what, if anybody else is involved, it's
Yeah,
just like,
That's
if
a
you're
great
not
point.
alone, if you're
Yep.
not alone, it is a problem.
That is a good, you know, you've said that before, and that is the way to think about it. Like if you're
Yeah.
watching it by yourself, if you had to watch this with people, people. Like you said, you're watching with your girlfriend even, and it's kind of like,
I
then,
do
by the
hate
way, it's
that
a
in
trap on
movies.
your end because you're like, oh, that's hot, and they're like, I
Yep.
mean, it's not.
Yeah, and you can kind of get away with like a Titanic where it's like a sensual scene with your girlfriend. It's
Well,
okay,
of course,
not
that's way
family,
different.
but like, yeah, not that one for sure.
No, that's way
even
different.
with that, no, and I would even argue any of
The
the other
Titanic one?
nude scene, any of the other nudity in the film, it's not this prolonged, awkward, like
Yeah.
long where we're just
That's
stretching
true.
out this joke that's not funny, and it's
Yep.
just for
It's
the
just
12-year-olds.
boobs.
That's it.
Yeah,
Right,
Like-
totally.
Very true.
Yeah, honestly, what that really probably is, now that we're more adults, is somebody on that film wanted to get that girl a job or something, and he's like,
Yeah.
this is a
an
role.
opportunity.
Yeah, like that's, I mean, probably really what it was.
Oh, man.
Honest to
let's
God.
be real. I was a 12-year-old at Blockbuster.
Yeah, me too. Finding this
You know what I mean?
video
We were that
and keeping it.
generation.
Definitely did not return this one. to
Pausing it on
Blockbuster.
VHS, hoping that you don't get the weird line in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, hoping for just like a normal screenshot.
so, yeah, I know what you're saying, though. Dude, it's totally not needed. It
Yeah.
really wasn't. Didn't add
Well,
anything.
did you have anything else to say about that, Scott?
No. Oh,
No.
Scott.
No, that
Okay,
was it.
I just wanted to ask you, what is your relationship? Did this come up? I remember, I don't think I ever sang this to you. I think we just loved this song and like
Okay,
had fun with it.
I
like when we
definitely
were
had
younger.
it. You definitely sang it to me. Everybody sang it. The thing is, like, okay,
Yeah, I feel like- I don't
I
know.
was in 9th grade when this movie came out.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a bad time.
And
Was
you
that
gotta
the
understand-
debut of this song? By the
You
way,
were
Did this
instilling
song?
it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is original. I mean,
Um,
he's singing about the chick in the movie.
Yeah, but it became a song that everyone knew.
Also, Matt Damon was not singing. Just so you
Okay,
know.
okay.
I do think this song actually does exist outside of the film, but
I've heard it
there's a
many
band
times, and I
that-
never
there's a
heard this
band that
song.
plays it.
You didn't
Yeah.
know that it came from this movie?
No.
Oh, yeah,
No,
it's
this is
definitely
actually-
for the movie.
Well, okay, yeah, because if you're talking about personally and then in the film, I kind of have two separate opinions. Because personally, too, it goes from like, growing up, if somebody hears your name is Scott, it would be like, oh, beat me up, Scotty.
Oh
or
yeah, there's
whatever.
that.
That's like,
Yep.
If anything, it's like this is a little embarrassing for you. Like you just admitted to liking Star
Yeah.
Trek. Like,
Well, I like Star Trek. How dare you? But also, you know what though? Some of those
And-
songs, like, dude, to this day, like I remember if I hear Stacy, if someone's like, "Oh, my name's Stacy," I'll
Stacy.
Stacy's mom.
has got it going. Yeah, every time. I'm sorry. It's not my fault that your name triggers a memory.
I can't help it.
I don't feel like singing it at someone is fair, but like it's
I have done
definitely
it
popping
before.
up in my head.
I've sang that song at someone before.
I don't care. It was just a minor annoyance because it did go from like that relatively harmless thing to everybody when they first would meet me just calling me a cuck.
Right.
Like,
You know what's bizarre about that though, dude? Is
If that's how you're taking it, they're not calling you a cock.
you know what's funny about that though is like I've said every
They're
Stacy
just
girl,
always saying, oh my god, sorry.
every girl I've
there
ever
was a
met that's
couple
called
of years where it would be as soon as they found out your name was Scott, like, oh, Scotty doesn't
No,
know
that I'm fucking your girlfriend. Dude, I've never even, man, that's gotta suck when you're in a relationship. Like, yeah, dude, shut the fuck up. Stop saying that
Oh,
song.
yeah, and I was like in that time period exactly. Like I was.
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say, what's weird to me is like I've done it with Stacy. Every Stacy chick I've ever met named
I'm
Stacy.
sure
I'm like,
they
"Oh."
all loved it. I'm sure. They
I
were
know,
all
but not
totally
everyone.
blown
But I mean, more like in a party or usually in a situation where we're drunk or something, and they're like, "Oh, Stacy's mom" or
away.
something.
I'm sure they thought it was hilarious.
Well, whatever. But the point is, it's neither here nor there. I've never ever
it's
for
here.
some reason. I don't care, and I'll continue to do it. By the way, so
I'm rooting for you.
but I've never thought about it with you because it's weird because it's just not the exact same. Scott and Scotty for whatever reason because you've never
Yeah,
been
if
a
your
guy.
name was like Scotty or that was your nickname or something.
Yeah, like I've never. No one was ever like, "Oh, Scotty,"
Because I
You know what I
never
mean?
think about that song when I think of your name now. I
I
mean,
don't,
we've known
I don't
each other.
either, and I'm someone who would. I
Yeah.
certainly would be. I will now.
Yeah.
but-
Except you don't like the song.
That's
Say
true
yes,
too.
that's-
That's true
that's
too.
true.
I honestly have never liked the song. I just think it goes way too far. I hate that it's like seen as like a
Yeah,
pop
do it
punk
in my
song.
van every
Right, like-
Sunday.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense. You're a pop punk elitist about Scotty doesn't.
Yep.
Know. That's the real issue.
Just
You're
think
above
it's such no, it just you know what? Like I said, I'm an adult, and
Not
at this point,
grimy enough for you.
I've done bad things, but there's something about it being in this pop punk fun version, and it's just like it's not that I'm a pop punk elitist about it, but I think it's like it's sung in this fun way where it's like I feel like I'm supposed to be mosh pitting to it, but it's like it's not even like what was the one song? Josie's Girl or not Josie's Girl. What's it?
Jesse's Girl.
Jesse's Girl. Like to me, that's like a little different because he's kind of just singing like that. Man, I like her.
Thinks about it. Yeah.
It's I know you're with my friend, but I like you. I wish maybe we could be together.
Rather than
he's literally talking about fucking her, in the van or whatever and shit like that. And it's
it in the van every Sunday.
Which is weird too, because like I said, I don't think there's another genuinely mean-spirited joke in the entire movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it for the movie.
No, I guess. I mean, the rape stuff. Lots of raping. They all got raped at least twice.
I don't. You know what? I don't.
It's male rape. You're kind of allowed, and it's very slightly.
Not just that. I wouldn't consider
not punching down. It's not like making. No, I mean it's making fun of the act, not the character. You're right. It's not mean to them.
And I don't even. God, I mean, again, dude, you guys. Sometimes you guys are a little certainly on the further side than I am on some of this shit. Like, dude, jokes are jokes, and I would like when you said that. I never even considered watching that it was rapey. Like, honest to God, I never.
Well, I mean, they actually get raped. Like that Italian man, the Italian man.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I knew you were talking about that. When I was watching it, I just didn't even fathom it.
My jaw dropped. I was like, he's smoking a cigarette. Did he?
Your jaw dropped? That's fucking crazy, dude.
Honestly, because I didn't remember that he fucked them all. Like they were all like in the corner, and he was not even.
I don't even think that he didn't fuck them. By the way, the insinuation is probably just that they jerked off, got a little handsy, or he jerked himself off, or whatever.
That's fair.
But
yes, that was my reaction. Like, did he just have sex with all of them?
Okay,
I mean, who cares?
So as far as Scotty doesn't know, is in the movie. That, I feel like I actually have the exact opposite opinion of Eric, where I'm like, to me, the biggest problem with the film is that it comedically peaks 10 minutes in, and it's like people know that song, they don't know anything else from it. I would argue it is a legitimately funny song, especially in the context of the film. It is probably my favorite.
It's catchy.
It's catchy, and it does like comedy films, especially comedy films in like the 90s or the 2000s, always do that thing where like the character gets cheated on at the beginning, so now they're
it was a very famous, very popular storyline for a while.
Yeah. And that movie does it honestly. Then there's not a lot brilliant about the movie. I'd say maybe nothing else. But the one thing that they actually do that I would say is a brilliant decision is having that be the way he's cheated on. Because you walk into the room and somebody's fucking his girlfriend and whatever, which is what it usually always is. It's like a fun, cool way to kind of introduce that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. No, one of the things I loved most about I really liked that animation. I did not remember that they had that whole like on-flight animation thing. I thought that was really cool. And like,
I mean, I
miss that kind of thing.
Here's the thing. I didn't laugh out loud a lot, but I don't laugh out loud a lot at anything. I thought the storyline was real. I just really liked it. I honestly got in and really liked it. And here, even things like this, like, look at, and I'm not someone who just watches corny movies per se, I don't think. But like even like the robot scene when he does like the robot in line and he fights the memeing
Fun
robot.
Fact, that was that actor Scott, his acting coach.
Yeah,
and that's why it kind of went so far. Is because they were like, oh, they're having fun with each other. Let's just
even cooler
and let them go.
Like I know it's small, and like I said, I didn't laugh at it. I wasn't like, this is hilarious, but I did like it. I don't know. It just seemed very fun. It was more just fun to me.
Like out loud laugh.
Maybe it's because I've been going through some shit in my life that I watch so much serious stuff on TV. I've gotten really in my older age. I watch a lot more dark comedies, a lot more like just. And so maybe it was a good time for me to watch just a more. So maybe that's the reason I'm so into it, that it was just like a good time in my life to have just a fun loving movie. But I really liked it. Like I honestly, God, enjoyed the whole thing, even though I wouldn't count it funny. I'm not saying it's a funny movie. I didn't really laugh out loud.
No, but it was definitely like.
But
What
I
were you
thought the
gonna say,
story
Scott?
was just like, it wasn't nearly as, and I know it was forced. I get it, but it's also a movie. You have to remember, it's a movie. This is not a real life. It's not a stretched out TV series. For movies of that genre, to me, I felt it seemed the least obnoxious. Like the things of how they got to places, for the most part, felt more real than other ones I've seen like that.
I would say, like, my thing is, like, I do kind of agree with you. Weirdly, and I did not expect this at all going into it, because what I expected was, okay, it'll be way more obnoxious than I remembered and way more whatever.
Me too.
Like, as a comedy, I'd give it, honestly, maybe a 3 out of 10. As comfort food, maybe an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah,
really
that's fair.
honestly, like,
That's fair. Like I
Yeah.
said, I didn't laugh a lot. I didn't necessarily think
but it was
hilarious.
nice to spend that time with them. And like they care, like you said, they care about each other. Like I really liked that scene when they met up. The reason they stayed together is just be like, we're not gonna be around each other as much.
Yeah.
Like let's cherish this moment together.
And that's an extra big accomplishment, considering that none of these people, they're all nobodies as far as the actors.
Right.
Yeah, except
Right.
for
I don't
the
know
girl,
her.
Michelle.
Yeah,
Even that, like,
She was in Buffy.
Buffy.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch
Yep.
Buffy, but
She was Dawn.
Oh, okay,
Buffy.
cool. Good for her. But I don't know. So I'm trying to think. You know, another little thing I really liked was when they're in the one scene, for example, when they're in Germany.
Yeah,
I think, or he's believing he's in Germany. I don't think they're in Germany yet. But like he's having like, the dream with her, and Hasselhoff is like singing the song. And like compared to when we were watching Last Action Hero, I think it was, and that terrible Hulk Hogan, cameo.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Absolutely.
Like to me, the Hasselhoff was fucking awesome because it's always the joke is that he's huge in Germany or whatever, and so they're having this scene, and then he just comes up in the little corner singing. Yep. I thought that was cool.
It wasn't even a cameo; it was more like they just made a little dream sequence up in the corner.
Yeah. I mean,
I liked that better too. It wasn't Hasselhoff being like, "Get it" and pound him with his fist or something.
Yeah, no, it was him singing, which is always a joke that Hasselhoff is huge in Germany, with his music for whatever reason, but.
So weird. No, one of the other things. What did you guys think of? Like, I loved the little brother, like his little like shit stained brother. Like when I watched it again, one of my favorite scenes or lines from this movie is when Scott wakes up and he's like, "Why are you wearing my fucking robe?" Right. And he's like, "Because somebody pissed all over mine last night because he got shit faced and pissed all over." And still, chuckle out of me.
I get
maybe more out of nostalgia for. I kind of like that trope. More or less of the little shit brother.
Yeah, I didn't. It was a fine. I will say this. I wish the dad. I don't know how you could have done it. I wish that dad could have been in it a little more. Only because that dad is always a very funny actor. Yeah, like
Jeffrey
he's just one of those guys that. What's up?
Jeffrey Tambor.
Okay, I didn't know his name, but yeah. Like he's just one of those guys that's always so funny. Like he can just do anything and it's funny. I don't know how they could have had him in more because of the storyline. You probably couldn't have, and I would, and that's the problem. I wouldn't want it to be forced, where somehow he ended up in Germany too. That would have been terrible. But on the same hand, I could have seen more of him because I always liked that guy. He's just funny. But.
No, he's hilarious. I mean, even the scenes he was in this, I enjoyed.
Oh yeah, the things he was in. If I laughed, he might have been the reason I laughed. When you said
the little brother at first, I thought you were talking about Michelle
the twin.
Twin brother.
The little shit.
And I was gonna say he's literally Ben Shapiro just stole his entire vibe.
That is funny, dude. That is funny.
Like I was gonna say he's doing a Ben Shapiro, and I was like, no, he came first.
Right.
Yeah, right. Ben Shapiro's doing of this little kid.
That's funny.
He got paid $175 to get this film or to be in this film.
That's it.
And these motherfuckers were calling like when they'd be like, "Oh, we have to get a tree for the set." They were like, "Oh, it's gonna cost 5 Bretts," because that was that kid's name. And they had that like
the
little
actor?
tiny yes.
Or the little what? Wait a minute, what actor?
So the Scott's younger brother.
Oh no!
He only got paid $150. That can't be right.
The twin brother.
Oh no, the twin has the Ben Shapiro vibes. Absolutely, you're right.
No, but even the other kid, that kid could not have only been paid like $200 to be in that whole movie.
$175, and they used it as an increment of like, yeah, we need like 8 Bretts to finish this.
Like 10.
Yeah, but I mean,
that still seems like for Hollywood. I mean, that seems like it seems like you're in like you'd have to be in the fucking what do
A
you call
voice
it?
actor gets paid $1,000 no matter. It's like law that you have to get paid $1,000 even if you're doing one line.
Yeah, that
Like
kid
you-
needs a
a
union.
minimum.
I'm not. Yeah.
What is the goddamn, not the Actors Guild, but like trying to think.
Yeah,
Fuck,
we
I
need
can't-
to get a hold of that.
I can't think of it, but that seems like that's below like pay for like $175 for a
Yep.
you're in a
Extra
movie.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, them shaming him by using it as an increment of money to be like, it's a brat, a little bit.
Unless there was something that we don't know about, or maybe he was just a friend and they just
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
sure there
threw
is.
him some
This is just
money and he didn't.
fact on some fucking forum,
Yeah.
like blog I read or whatever.
I'm trying to think. What else? Like, is there any like? What
I mean, one of the things I was gonna say too. What do you got? Can you think of another thing where it's like a trope of a woman being treated like a man, even though it's absurd?
I
That-
literally
it
have
would
women
piss me
down.
off.
I literally have the way they're treating Michelle Trachtenberg is absurd.
Is a yeah, dude.
I only can think of that it was a lazy way of they wanted the two to hook up in the end and they didn't, but they didn't want it to be like
What, the brother and sister? Because that
no,
They had to
but
be
like no,
friends.
like the
Yeah,
friends and
the
maybe
friend,
they just
Cooper,
and
Cooper and her.
they kind because I can understand they did it a little too hard. I mean, but I can understand. So it seemed a little too crazy.
Here
But
was
like
go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I
You'll
was
probably
gonna say, like, like I feel like what they were really trying to do with her, which is also just insane, is they're doing the like ugly girl takes off her glasses thing.
I know.
And they
Yes.
do it when they go to the nude beach.
She's
She
not
goes to the
ugly.
beach.
She's an
No,
ugly from the get. She's gorgeous.
Honestly, as a grown man at 33 watching this, I was like, how are you
How
so
old is
fucking
she?
hot? For a movie star. how are you so
Right.
fucking hot? She's an adult. She's definitely an adult.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
Yeah.
she is.
Early
I mean,
mid-twenties.
dude, when she bent down and took that pop out of the
Pan
fucking
up,
machine,
yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like,
Good- that ass. I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to live with Jesus Christ. She was in this because of that.
I guess I can only think of like, and they did it. Like I said, they kind of went to the extreme. But you got to remember, I think sometimes we need to remember that movies are movies. And
Yeah.
again, maybe if you're doing a series,
I
you
feel
can do
like
a little
pick
more.
somebody.
But we don't know. But when these kind of three, the two were Scotty was dating, Fiona,
Yep.
and this, and then the other dude. I'm bad with names already, even though I just watched it.
Cooper.
But Cooper is just kind of there, and
Yep.
the point is, these guys have obviously all been friends like all of high school. So
Yeah.
they're trying to play that role that you've known somebody
Yeah.
since third. I know,
But
I'm
if
just
I
saying,
was
but
friends with her since third grade, I'd be like, "Whoa, she glowed up, man!" Like,
I know,
things
but
have
again,
changed.
the thing is, like,
Honestly, maybe one of the most attractive 5 people on Earth in that moment. I mean,
but
she's
I
absurdly
understand.
hot.
I understand. But again, you just got to remember, it is a movie. They do, and this isn't some Shakespeare
Hotter-
thing. This is
hotter
you
than
gotta.
the blonde, in my opinion.
What's up?
I
Not
said
even
hotter
close.
than the
Not
blonde,
even close.
Mika, at the
Yeah.
end. Like, I legitimately feel like Jenny beats her.
Not
Like,
even
the blonde's
close. Not
cute.
even-
Yeah,
more than the vast majority of movie stars, I would argue.
yeah. I know what you're
I
saying.
think you have a thing for for Michelle.
I don't know. Watching this as an adult, I was like, normally I am like the hot girl is just bullshit. Who
Yeah,
cares?
fuck her. Shit like
Yeah.
that.
It's just some
And you're like,
generically
I'm in.
attractive bad actress or whatever. I was
Yeah.
like, it's ridiculous. It's insane.
No, I know.
Everybody-
And
if
the
you knew her in person, everybody around her would be like, "Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about." You're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
The most popular girl in school that every guy wants to fuck.
And like I said, I totally understand. The problem is we know she's that good looking. It is a movie. They cast her because for whatever reason they wanted her. And my
Yeah.
take on that would be, did they overdo it a little on like him being like, oh, she's not even she's basically a man. Yeah, a little, but
Yeah.
it's a movie. Again, you don't have as much time for subtlety. It's also, by the way, not a real deep movie. So
Yeah.
they did it in a way that they probably thought was, we'll just make it obnoxious versus just kind of like, oh, I've never noticed her.
See, I
And-
know you're saying it's a movie too, but I would say like it points to a more systemic problem with this film in that like it is extremely lazy on a
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
regular
I would
I
agree.
agree with that. It's a
And
lot
See,
of
but that just
short-
doesn't bother me.
like it's
Which
a
is
lot of
why-
skits put together.
Within the
Those are what
context
those movies were in the late 90s, early 2000s. When you watch,
and it's like, yeah, sure, it's a movie. I get that, but like it is like lazy. Like in a way,
Yeah.
I would argue that a lot of those films are not even.
I mean, really though, name to me, if you really start, whenever I watch those
Yeah,
movies
think of
that
like
I
a
used to
Van
think were,
Wilder. That movie's lazy as fuck.
Oh, I don't doubt that. Van Wilder, I bet you hands down is worse in every way. I bet you it's more mean.
well, when I watch those movies,
You're right.
like a movie I liked from back in the day. And I think it wasn't 2000. It was because I was after school. I think it was 2006, like Accepted. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Accepted at all.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
like to me, all those type of movies, when I watch them again, the only thing about it I noticed from the late 90s, early 2000s is, especially if you're going to do a road trip, if you're going to do, Road Trip, or I'm trying to think of some of the other kind of generic, movies like that, Saving Silverman or some shit like that. Like I loved that movie, but they all just go. But I loved that movie, and I still will. I still to this day.
The movie is gross on another level.
Oh,
man.
I loved it, and to this day, by the
My
way,
family walked out of that movie with Scott's family.
Yeah,
There's a scene.
Walked out. We were like 10.
I love that movie, dude. There's a scene in that movie where they're inviting over like the two annoying dudes or just bro guys, and they invite his girlfriend over, the one dude's girlfriend over, and they try to get her to sit on their recliner, just has a bunch of chips and bullshit on there, and they're like, oh, let's just get this old sweeperoo. I still use that phrase to this day to refer to cleaning my car out. Like I'm like, oh, this car needs a sweeperoo.
Fair enough.
But anyway, my point is, like, all those movies to me,
in retrospect,
I'll watch it again. I bet I would like it again, honestly, because my
sure
humor.
You might.
I should watch it again to see how much.
I haven't watched it again.
But my point is, though,
I've watched it
Since.
And
how did you feel about it?
Late teen. It's gross. Like honestly.
What do you mean by gross? I don't understand.
The whole vibe of that movie is
I remember it
there's
being
like
very
2 or 3 different scenes of Jack Black's butt crack, and
that's not that gross. I mean,
wow.
When you're repeatedly going to a butt crack for a gag, it's not a movie I want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I'd watched it, I'm not going to say I'd watch it if I watched it tomorrow. I would think it was as funny as I did when I first watched it.
Yeah.
But I think I'd still probably dig most of it in the end. I think I probably, well, either way, that's off the subject. But
and it's not even just that. Think about, okay, this is how gross Saving Silverman is too. Their titty scene is some sauce gets spilled on a girl's. On a
oh
girl's
yeah,
foot.
yeah,
and
yeah.
then like it's this long, prolonged scene of them getting it off, and like there are boobs in this scene, and it's kind of gross.
That stuff just that stuff just doesn't bother me as much as it does you guys. I guess I don't think I'm a Neanderthal. But
at least these boobs were like in a pool.
No, but like when you describe things as gross, I get what you're saying, but it takes more for me to feel like this is fucking.
Yep.
I get it doesn't matter. We just have different. How we are. We're just different like that. It's okay.
I would say I don't mind grossness at all. Like I love, like there's plenty of horror movies and stuff I love with gore. But like when you're, I've never understood the concept of doing something gross for a laugh. Unless it's like unless it's like the person's really doing it.
And I should tell you, so when you say gross, maybe I'll have to watch it again because when you're saying that, see, I thought you meant gross in a different way. I thought you were meaning gross more of like again, kind of like a woke style, like, oh my God, this. I didn't know you meant you were kind of more just saying like, seriously, these are just dumb gags.
And shitting. Like,
okay,
so gross me out. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? In that sense, I will probably agree with you in the end because, as you know, like I'm not a person who likes fart jokes. I don't. So I don't care for personally shitting jokes, even in a movie. Now, like me and Tyler the other night were hanging out and we were telling stories that we'd had happen with each other, that were kind of embarrassing. That's different because those are personal stories that happened to me. But you're right. Yeah. In a movie, I will agree with you there, dude. I am not for just... So if that's what you're talking about, maybe I'll watch it back and go, yeah, you're right. I don't really care for butt crack jokes. And, like, for example, my dad would always say this. My dad was always like, oh, does a movie have a... And this one did, by the way, the... Eurotrip. It did have it was sure enough. My dad would always be like, "Oh, does it have someone kicking someone in the groin?" Like that's my dad's always kind of like go to for it's a bad movie. Oh, there's a groin kick, you know what I mean, or something.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I agree with your dad.
Yeah, and so my point is with you. Not on redefine what you kind of meant by gross. I thought you were meaning it in a different way, and you're absolutely meaning gross. Like I don't need it.
Yeah,
and that's
same here.
I'll totally agree with you, dude. I don't fucking care per se for like a puking, unless it's really needed. Unless it's like,
that's one of those movies you don't watch with family or with anyone.
Yeah. Well, back in the day you would have though. Back in the day you would have when you were a teenager. You would have rented. I mean, American Pie.
Did go.
The famous fucking pie scene in American Pie, like, you know what I mean?
You gotta keep in mind we grew up Jehovah's Witnesses too, so we had a very specific experience with that movie because we were like 10 and our families like walked out because it was constantly just both gross and like sexual for a PG-13 movie.
Oh yeah, that would have been that wouldn't have been a good movie to go back at the time it was, at the age you would have been, and with Jehovah Witness parents. Yes, I could understand walking out of that movie.
But I've seen it. They used to play that on Comedy Central like every other day. So like
I know.
Since then,
and you still like it.
You know what I think? You know what I think would happen when I watch some of these movies, and maybe we'll do. Maybe Tyler. I'm sorry, Tyler. I didn't mean to do this, but maybe what will happen if I watch some of those movies is overall I wouldn't really love the whole movie, but I think there'd still be like jokes in there. Like, Tom Green, I forget what movie this was. Tom Green was in.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Freddy Got Fingered.
I don't think this was Freddy Got Fingered, but I think it was I'm trying to remember. But there's one where Tom Green is like living in like a garage essentially or something, like his parents' garage. Or something, or like an outhouse kind of a. Anyway, my point is like I still to this day think of like a scene where he's in like his parents have like set him up like in some little just he's trying to pretend like I'm a badass but really he's a loser who's living with the parents. And he has these like posters on his wall with like trucks, like semi trucks in them, and the lights are actually like on. And he's like, see these babies? I can leave these things on all night if I want. Like I would probably there's certain like. And like in Saber and Silverman, like the sweeperoo, I literally still use the sweeperoo as a joke. So I bet if I watched them, I would find humor in some of the specific jokes I liked, but overall, I am sure I would think, Scott, more like what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Does that make
sense? Okay, and I swear, right after this, we will get right back to Eurotrip.
Will you?
The only other thing I would say, to be fair, these are also Eurotrip tangential.
Yeah, it's all early 2000s slush.
The only thing I will say is there is a difference too. I will stand to a degree by Freddy Got Fingered because Freddy Got Fingered is gross as fuck, but it really just swings for the fences.
Yeah, it's trying. It's
right.
And like, so you can even sometimes be gross, but if you're gonna make me watch something gross, you better really.
Yeah, it better be like a Jackass. It better be like something real extreme.
Yeah, Freddy Got Fingered has Jackass vibes.
Vibes for sure.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm sure some of these. You're right. If I think about it in that sense, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And some of them might just be nostalgia. I would like it for nostalgia, of course. But anyway.
I was gonna ask. Okay, getting back on the subject.
To Eurotrip.
So Cooper gets taken by this sex dungeon thing,
right?
Like, have you ever been? Do you know what a brothel's like? I've never been to one. I don't know what they are or whatever. I just can't imagine. I understand it's a movie, but it's like. That felt to me like it was going to turn into Hostel. Like it was going to take that turn.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you knew it wasn't though, but you knew it wasn't, and you would have known even back then.
I mean, Scott literally tricked me into watching Hostel by saying it was essentially like this movie.
Well, that's a totally different situation. But that's just you being very, very naive.
Yeah, that's my own trauma boiling up to the surface.
There's a lot of things I could. That are there, but I would say the thing is in this movie, Tyler, even back when you were watching,
I just remember him getting spankings. I know why. Did you guys watch the rated R version or the uncut version?
I mean, but I do remember the ass rape being more explicit in the unrated version.
Yes, I just watched probably the R version. I'm guessing because I just. Yeah,
I mean, it showed him shaking.
Okay, I didn't see that.
He was
Although, by the way, one time when you mentioned we should do like plot holes, I will say when the kid gives up his, for one, by the way, I don't understand why he gives up his. Why not just give his money? He could still get the blowjob, and
I thought that same thing, Eric.
But he could, and even the money. But why they would not be able to do what they were doing without passports.
But this goes back to the laziness of this movie. Honestly, like no, it's not remotely how a brothel.
No, they just needed to get rid of the passports, so they had to hitchhike.
And they had a very, very broad idea about like, well, like what if we had him in like a BDSM brothel when it gets out of hand?
They
didn't bother at all putting any logic into creating that.
No, honestly, the guy who made this said in an interview that he made this movie so that he could hang out in Europe. And
there you go. I wanted to
do this.
Good for
and,
him, then.
like,
By the way, very good for him at that point.
Very
You know
much
what?
so worked out.
You know who else does that is Adam Sandler in this
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
It's not
Very-
being spirited the way an
Yep.
Adam Sandler film is, but it has the exact same vibe of like these people are having fun, but they're
Right.
extremely lazy as filmmakers.
Which is, dude, Adam Sandler movies now, I don't even watch them for the most part. There's a few of them that I have.
like that Halloween one he did. I did
I don't
have
know.
fun with that.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I'm not
that
sure,
one.
but I don't watch most of it. But you know what I'm saying, man? I don't have a hate for Adam Sandler because I know what because I'm the same man. I just know that, dude, they're paying him money and I know he's having fun. So, and he brings all his friends with him. It's like, dude, good for you. I'm not going to watch them, but good on you, dude, to keep making money somehow and just go, do these things. It's like, good for him. But
Who Be Halloween is the movie. It was on
okay.
Netflix.
I didn't see that one,
I'll
but
never
Yep.
watch it.
I honestly,
never will.
I had fun with it. It felt more like his original shit. I'm not saying
Graham-
that it's the best, but
I hate his original shit. I can't.
Yeah,
I,
you don't like- you don't like that
I
shit.
like his original.
his That's My Boy he did. His That's My Boy with Adam Sandberg, I think, was in it. I think that was really fucking funny.
I
to
love
me.
Andy Samberg. If you put him in just about anything, and I will watch.
Well, there you go. There's an Adam Sandler movie that you might watch if you want to watch That's My Boy. It's kind of
I've seen That's My Boy, and That's My Boy actually, like, rating wise, I want to say it has like a 5% or something on Rotten
really
Good
Worse
God.
than most of his films, and I would argue just through Andy Samberg's presence alone, it's actually
It's
yeah,
better.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
That
no,
is fair.
So that's funny that he just made, but good for him. And the thing is, I know you're right. You know what, Scott? As I've been going through some shows recently. Like recently, I was watching this show, Friday Night Lights on Netflix that I watched way back in the day.
Yeah,
and now I'm rewatching it.
The show.
No, there's a show. There was a show version
I've
of
thought
it.
about recommending that show to you before. I don't watch it, but what I know about it, I was like, Eric would love this show.
And I did. I did, especially the first run through. And the second run through, I'm still enjoying it. But when you talk about this, like as I've gotten older, have gotten to understand like laziness. And then that show, in a movie like this, it just doesn't bother me as much because it's just not. But in Friday Night Lights that I've been watching recently, though, and I'm bringing this up because of what you've been bringing with this show, that is a strung out show that has 15 episode seasons, and dude, you can develop shit. And like that show, I've been watching the second run through. Like I watched it about 10 years ago, and now I'm watching it again. And I sit there now and go, wow, this is just a lazy way to make this happen. And so I get what you're saying. I think it just doesn't bother me as much in a movie like this because I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm watching. This isn't fucking, like I said, this isn't a fucking, trying to think, Shakespeare or something. This is
Just try 20% harder.
I
That's
get
my
it.
thing. You know
I
what
get
mean?
it.
Yeah, put that extra
Like,
effort
okay,
into.
when they go to the Vatican, like that
Yeah,
was
that's my
that is-
least
I would
favorite
say-
scene.
I would say the laziest set of gags in the entire film.
I mean, he just
Yes.
leans his head back and then he gets on fire and it starts.
That
Yeah,
is my
him being the Pope. Him being the Pope.
Yeah. And people believing that the Pope died or something, like
Yeah,
actually
that
believing
too.
it.
You guys are going way too far with this. No. He just pulls a rope that's just hanging in the middle
I know,
of their
yeah.
door, which announces the Pope is dead. Like, you're not going to have, like, and the thing is, it is a film. So, yeah.
Which wasn't needed, by the way, anyway.
No, but I'm saying, like, so in reality,
Just to get her
whatever,
attention.
it's going to be in a locked room, probably where, like, 2 people need a goddamn key or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's insane. I get that. It's a movie. Put some bars around it. Make it it'll feel a little bit restricted. And then
Yeah,
have
no,
fun.
you're
And
right,
I would
you're
be
right.
like, yeah, you know what? Like, sure. That
And
makes-
I agree- like I said, I agree with you.
The
That-
soccer hooligans are not protecting them against the fucking police.
I know,
These
I know, that
motherfuckers
is-
are going to jail. You don't get to fuck in the Vatican either. That was another thing that I was like, what? You went to the Vatican back in to go fuck?
I know, that
inside
was-
their little room.
So my 2 least favorite things were the Pope's, anything in the Vatican, because even for me, okay, so that I will say finally got in my line. We're like, okay, dude, this is fucking ridiculous. And you're right. Like they could have fucked anywhere else, dude. It was all just to probably get that
Anywhere.
ass scene against like the confessionary box,
Yep.
probably.
And have
But-
that
but-
one bit about that chick coming in there and being like, oh.
Right.
lead
So it was
on or
probably
whatever.
all just for that, essentially. Which, again, if you're as a writer now, like how we all do comedy now and have tried to write things out, I do get more and more like you understand, like, oh, this is the joke they wanted, so that's why that's there. But yeah, no, the Vatican fucking scene too, like I don't mind them fucking, but like that was dumb.
Yeah.
But even that didn't bother me as much as the whole Pope scene and shit.
No,
That-
to
all
like
that-
really encapsulate, I feel like what Scott was saying too is one of the scenes, like the fucking dick scene, like where they had all the naked people on the beach or whatever, naked guys. Like they were gonna do, bits with each of the guys doing a little thing where something was in their way, but they were like, don't do that. Wouldn't it be funny if we just showed dongs?
I kind of
just-
respect that, to be honest.
Instead of doing like the Austin Powers, I was just thinking it's like more effort to actually have to do that.
Well,
like,
but then he would have
less
just been doing Austin Powers.
Is it more?
Yeah, you
effort
don't want to rip it off.
Yeah, and is it more effort to rip off Austin Powers? Like, no, not really.
No, I would
No.
rather have the dongs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Rated R.
Yeah.
Show the
Okay,
dong.
fair enough. You've convinced me. We need dongs. They made
No,
the
in
right
that in that
choice.
scene,
In
because
that
again, it would have
moment.
just been Austin Powers. It just would have been Austin Powers if they did the now there's a umbrella here.
But I feel like
Wow, 50 dudes.
Well, still, but
Yeah,
I
you're
feel
right. You're right.
like-
They're just
and-
stealing at that point.
And I feel like I'm willing to. I feel like Tyler, you're swinging too far the other way. We're like, I'm not expecting that much out of this.
Out of
I'm
this
just
play.
saying, like, okay, yeah, you're not.
I'm saying,
going
like,
to-
take the
You're not
extra
going
steps
to
when
be
you have the
walking around and just find the Pope's outfit, and then
No,
you put it
no.
on and wear it. Like,
I mean,
yeah, that was
there
they
wouldn't be
just
a
they just had
posted
two
guard at
doors.
every single door.
They just had two doors, and he goes, and the one guy goes, "I think we should go here," and he goes, "Well, that means we should go here." And then they're just in the personal
In
Pope's
the personal
Pope's
Pope's
office.
area.
and you can do this stuff, but just add a little bit more. A little
Have him like
tiny bit
sneaking
more.
around, yeah, getting in there, being like, "Oh, there's a guard. I better avoid him." Not just fucking, "Oh, here's the entire Pope
Exactly.
outfit."
And then have Scott be like, Cooper, what are you doing? Like, and have him like sneak.
Yeah,
past
yeah. No, you're
That's all you
right.
need.
That's a good
That's all you
point.
need. Yeah.
Or
Those
even
are
the
good
drapes
points.
just draping around him perfectly, like all that shit.
That's
So
fine.
much
No,
like,
that's fine.
coincidence
That's
to
fine.
me.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess
It
that's
is
movie
fine.
magic.
It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But just
No, I get
just
what you're saying,
not
Scott.
stumbling into the room with all the
Right.
things you need for this last bit.
exactly try 20% harder. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's fair.
I mean,
you know what?
I'm
I
sure
think
that bell thing is real. I'm
The
sure
bell
that
thing
there
is
is.
real. It's not
It's just
hanging
wouldn't
in
be.
the middle of. They would get pulled all the time. Like they didn't. that's
Well,
what
no,
I'm
they'd
saying.
have guards. They'd have
They'd have
guards.
got- you don't even need guards. I'm saying if they had put like ropes around the bell.
Yeah, it was
So
very
you-
open.
Yeah, it's just I'm walking on this tour. Let me pull this bell. Like
That's
it's-
fair.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not like a
20%,
museum. That's
20%.
what I would say. They were saying it's not like a museum. It's like private tours. So they probably are. The Vatican people are like in there doing shit, right?
You're not getting a private tour of the rope that you can pull.
You
to
might
announce the Pope
just
is dead.
you have a bunch of adults. It's not like they're gonna pull it. You don't have kids in
No,
there
you
going to
wouldn't.
pull it.
Scott's
Well, you have
right.
Cooper, but
You wouldn't.
you wouldn't.
Put some ropes
Why would
around
that
it.
matter? Why would you have ropes around it if it was a place you worked in, essentially?
Well, the reality is it
You're
wouldn't even be
giving tours,
close to
you know,
that
to the
place. The reality is it'd be in some
Yeah.
separate fucking room in the
Exactly,
basement or some shit. It
yeah.
wouldn't even.
Yeah, but I'm sure they filmed the actual one. That's what I'm saying. I think that they probably filmed the actual Vatican.
No, I don't even think they went to Europe, dude.
No, they
Oh,
did.
no, he said
absolutely
he didn't want to.
That- The reason he
Okay.
went out here was for that
Yeah,
shit. They were
okay. The
showing
reason-
off
Yeah.
all that stuff. It wasn't
You know-
green screen.
They
Well-
might have had
well, the-
some outside scenes of the band.
They did as the reason I
Maybe.
only said that. You know what? I forgot you said that he went to Europe.
I feel like they were in the Vatican, man. They felt.
No
Why
way.
wouldn't they be able to
No
go
way.
in there? Why wouldn't they be able to go in there?
No, like 'cause you gotta.
You think that's the real rope that they are showing?
I don't know for sure.
Dude, this is
But
as
I
bad
feel
as
like
you
if you're
believing
making
that.
a movie, you might as well do it on the set.
This is as bad as you believing Caleb wrote all those fucking, what is it, languages and shit, right? Was it Caleb?
I
don't remember.
believe that he did because he said he did.
No, because it said it on Wikipedia.
That is justifiable. That is justifiable. He is a linguist. This is justifiable because, they're probably in the fucking Vatican.
I cannot
would-
fucking believe what's happening right now, Scott. I'm sorry to say this. Like,
it's insane.
what is going on in a 33-year-old man's head?
I don't think that a movie that made millions of dollars wouldn't have the budget to go inside the Vatican.
I would.
It's not a budget for one, by the way. It's whether they even allow any filming of that for a dumb fucking movie.
but you
like,
don't know.
No.
You don't know.
I would literally. I would like. Eric was just
Probably
bringing
set.
up long time ago joke about Kai and Kid Nation, him writing a bunch of languages, how bullshit that was, I would 100% believe that well over the fact that they let the cast of Eurotrip anywhere near the rope that you're going to pull.
I'm not saying they're fucking
that.
in the Vatican. They didn't have
No.
naked people in the Vatican. But maybe they have a fake rope and they're filming where it was. You're probably right. You're probably right.
I don't think there's any probably about it, to be honest with you. But
I feel like if you're filming in Europe and you're at the Vatican, because like he was at the Vatican, they were all there at the place. I guess they could just be filming from a balcony.
You know, the Vatican
something.
is like its own country.
they
Like,
have their own
that's real
currency and
serious.
shit, and like police force and all that.
I
shit.
was not aware of that. That's why I said more guards. But I still feel like I don't know.
The rope that they use to signal that the Pope is dead is not just fucking out there in like this little.
Honestly, if they let the cast of Eurotrip into the Vatican, that is the best evidence I've ever seen for that Catholicism is 100% bullshit.
I agree. I would agree to that. Like that shows they have literally absolutely no morals, which is funny to use morals in that phrase.
Not even no security, no self-interest, no self-awareness. Like, yeah.
He's trying to look it up.
I am trying to look it up. I really wanted to see.
But the thing is, the problem is you can't just say they film in the Vatican because they could have filmed. I believe that stuff outside in like the.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like they probably had. See, even that, like, you're right. Maybe the string and that one room were not in there. But
that was definitely not the Pope's room, by the way.
No, I agree with that. Even the hat. The hat was like cardboard.
Yeah,
I know,
wasn't
it was
like
a pretty
felt or anything.
bad.
It was like
fake.
they fucking made cardboard hats for him.
Yeah, it was a bad fake Pope's hat, by the way. It wasn't even. It didn't look that
Didn't
real
look
at
good.
all.
No, they're like silk and stuff. They like. I'm sure they're comfortable.
It's like they just got it at Halloween USA or some shit.
Yes, it very. I feel like you could hear it like hollow when he was doing it, like it's cardboard. Where it's like I don't know, something real cheap or paper. Honestly, I can see them absolutely having like a big particle piece of paper and then just
like I don't believe if Eurotrip the film they're not getting an email returned from the Catholic Church. They have to film in the Vatican.
Maybe they were just rebels and ran in there. Maybe all of it was like guerrilla filming. And
that must have been it.
Yep. They really did cause like a fucking I don't know, mass panic by ringing that bell and lighting his shit on fire. I don't believe they went that far. You don't, honestly, the more we're talking about it, okay, I believe that Alex has done languages, and to this day, and I still
Alex, that was it. You're right, Alex.
Languages, and he absolutely has done that shit. This,
no
you're
proof
right,
of it
you're right.
whatsoever.
They ain't letting you in the Vatican. Yeah. There's probably a room full of kids that they don't want you to see.
I like that he still is just at they probably ain't letting or something.
I can't fully support that they didn't film a lot of it inside. There's a part of me that questions it. Because you could go to a room or in another room. If they have tours at the Vatican.
I think there's a 10% chance they filmed outside the Vatican.
Right, like even in that like courtyard and shit.
Yeah,
right.
They're definitely filming in the courtyard of the Vatican.
I agree with Scott. Like that's not even.
They don't have the budget to do the thing you're talking about and recreate it.
It's like a green screen. Okay,
they don't. This is 2004.
Like when they were in England, by the way, when they were in England, dude, like I know that they went around Europe. I know some of it was real. Like when they were in England, when they got off the plane and they're like, oh, there's Big Ben. That was a green screen. So it wasn't even all used perfectly. There was 100% at least one scene in England that was a green screen.
No, when they first get there, when they first get on off the boat or whatever, that is a green screen. But you can tell. And that courtyard is
there was some of that courtyard was definitely a green screen when they show them like.
Are you looking it up?
The entire film was filmed in Prague in the Czech Republic.
Oh,
in the Czech Republic.
The Vatican City was actually Prague's national museum.
Those motherfuckers. Well, at least it's real.
Wow.
Stop trying to use magic or movie magic to fuck me up.
So it's all filmed in Prague. See, even England, I remember thinking like that's what I said. Like,
no,
even England,
that's what I was saying. England they had a green screen. That shit looked bad when they first get there off the boat. That shit looks whack.
That makes sense, Scott. Like, yeah.
But still, no green screen.
They didn't have the budget to film in England, much less the Vatican.
I know the Vatican, you'd have to be shelling out some big fucking money.
Yeah.
Big. And I don't even know if they
But
would
if they
ever.
can't get that, they definitely can't recreate a fucking set of the Vatican. They're not doing that.
Yeah, no, it turns out it was.
They just had like little shots that they could
Right.
it out.
Yeah.
Those bastards. They fooled me, all right? And I admit it. I admit that they fooled me. Alex,
You're
I
a weird
believe in
person
you.
who is
Alex,
sometimes
I
you're the
believe in you.
most-
If you hear this, Kid Nation Alex, I'm rooting for you,
You're a
boy.
weird person sometimes because sometimes you're so skeptical, and then sometimes things like this that you're just like, oh yeah, they probably filmed in the Vatican. I'm like,
And
what?
he's still standing by the Alex Kid Nation. Like, take off the
hands down.
tinfoil hat, man.
No,
Take it off.
no, it's not to that extent.
He's never
It's not
proven
the
it
case.
ever.
He is a linguist. He is a linguist. Like that is it what he did, went to school for. So no
like to-
matter what, he's at least done one, so I'm right.
No, wait. No, there's no at least on one, by the way.
If you go to school to be a
A
linguist,
linguist could just mean you've
you make
learned
it
other
languages.
languages and learn ancient languages and stuff. It doesn't mean you've
Yeah.
created a language.
he's created 11.
Okay.
I have a different opinion that I believe you can create. He created languages. I just also don't believe it's hard.
I
believe it's very
I
simple.
think,
I don't believe
I think
any
that
of
if
that
that's
happened.
if that's the case, create your own language
can
and
do
let's
it in
see.
an
You can. You just say
Okay, do it in an afternoon. Do it.
But it's not in an afternoon. He would have done it through his whole studies or bullshit.
You're talking about one letter right there, Eric. Draw it down. No, I mean a full-on 20
I mean, look at dude. Like, I'll just
However
wear some
many
paper.
letters you want to do in your alphabet. Create an alphabet, create words, speak that language. And then I will be like, okay, you did it in an afternoon. You're not going to create it, Eric. What are you doing? Are you getting a piece of paper to write some random
just
symbols
whatever.
on?
He's creating it. He probably just finished creating a language.
He didn't. He did not finish creating a language in the brief time of getting up and sitting down.
Like there,
He's
I
just
created-
making
look at
symbols
this
on a
word.
You
Yeah,
didn't.
but it's like that's a language.
It's not though.
How
You have to figure because you have to know what those apply to. What are you?
Well, I know what they do.
Those words
In
work.
Tyler's
This means
defense-
cat.
Okay, here's the thing.
It's
This is
I-
cat.
Okay, I mean,
I hate-
technically,
it brings
Exactly.
me it brings me no joy to say this, but in Tyler's defense, you wrote 2 T's and a V. Those are all actual.
just real
No,
letters.
no.
You just wrote.
This one right here. Now the T is a little bad, but like this one right here is kind of like, look at that's not a V. This is like
That's a
an
V.
L and a V just at an angle.
It's pretty cool.
Nah,
What's the
it's
difference?
pretty much just letters.
Fine, okay, I'll do 3 more. I'll do 3 more.
Like I said,
You're
it
getting
brings
it
me-
here first. This is the Linguist Cast, where we talk shit about linguists.
Let me think.
Either way, I will say
I would say, yeah. Let's get the
There we
final
go.
thoughts of this movie.
There's 3. There's cat
That's
in my
squiggly.
language.
those are better. Those
Okay,
cat
create
in
the
my
whole
language.
language. I want to be able to speak in that language. In an
But no,
afternoon, I
you
need
find his languages
to
and
be
you
able to
speak it.
use each
You
of those letters to
Find
create
his
any word I
languages.
want.
Find his languages though. You haven't found them.
Yeah,
You
I
have
guess.
plenty of time.
When we go on this journey next year, we're gonna find Alex and we are gonna hunt him down and make
He's on
him
Twitter.
write down a language.
He's on Twitter. You can just start tweeting him every day and say we want to know
Okay.
your languages.
That is a
I-
part of what's gonna happen next year. I'm open to this.
Just tweet him. Just prove you're a linguist.
These are good. Like, look at that. Those are legit. Like, if you look at those
Those are
things,
squiggly lines and a flag.
what is anything?
That is all languages.
Right. I mean,
You're a jackass, Scott. It is not. It's not.
that's cat.
You guys are the
That's
worst.
spelled CAT in
I-
American in English.
In the translation,
yeah, it
spells cat.
translates to cat.
I see that.
My final thoughts on the movie were that I liked it in the end, but again, I think I've been in a space that you guys know personally where I think that maybe it was just a very good time for me to not only like watch a movie that was kind of brain candy, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, you know what I mean? Not rewatch a movie, not like, oh, I'll rewatch a movie from my childhood. So for me personally, maybe that's why I liked it so much. I was in a space where I really maybe just needed some brain candy and where I didn't know where it was going, not when I was rewatching. So maybe that's why, but in the end, I really did enjoy it, even though I know it's lazy. I didn't really laugh per se. There's a lot of cheesiness as we talk more about some of these scenes, but that is what it is.
What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I would say like my bigger problem with the film is actually I feel like this movie does have a certain level of charm to it. I did not expect it to as an adult. And the biggest problem with it is the higher the concept it gets, the stupider and the lazier it gets. A lot of the stuff I actually did enjoy was the fact their interpersonal dynamics, because it did seem like they all liked each other. The movie liked them. That was good.
Yeah.
And honestly, like a lot of little joke, that the girl, whatever her name is, pretending Jenny.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Or Mike.
Jenny. Yeah.
Wait,
her pretending Cooper was mentally challenged. Like, dichotomy to get into the Vatican. When they asked when the soccer hooligans were gonna beat up Scott, and they're like, if you don't
sing that song,
and sing the song, and he just starts singing that like old pop song and turns it into a soccer thing, like that got a laugh out of me. The little stuff worked, the bigger stuff did not. I guess is how
that makes sense.
I would say for myself, it is definitely a nostalgia romp back to my teen years. And I liked it. Honestly, I thought there were things in it because, like I said, I watched the unrated version. Maybe that like skewed it a little like more extreme, but there were times where it's like, whoa, I don't remember that part. But for the most part, it was like, no, I enjoy it. Like you said, they're just so nice to each other. Like, even when they get in sticky situations, even the people who are being shitty to them aren't really being shitty. They're just being themselves.
It was a little, I'm not going to lie, when all of the friends helped him get to Germany and he sold his the twin brother or whatever, I was like, this it's pulling on my heartstrings. And it should be.
It shouldn't be. I felt for him, though, because, I don't know. They established that he really cared about that fucking camera.
There's three
You're
more.
not creating more languages.
I just can't. This is dog.
You're not.
I just created two words, and
it's not dog.
How do you know it's not? That's what it means to me.
That's not how languages work.
How do they work?
They work by having a thing that is. You have an alphabet, and then you use that alphabet.
Okay, yeah.
To create
This
words.
is D. This is D.
Create a full-on alphabet.
I mean, I'll just write 26 letters down, and I'll just create real crazy things underneath them.
All right, that's fair.
This is it just gave our final thoughts. The one other thing I would say is I was trying to remember, Tyler, because we were both big fans of this movie when we were like 15. Did I show it to you? Was that
no? I think we rented it. I think we rented it at your house.
Okay,
how many? We were like, "Hey, this looks all right," and there's hot girls in it.
Yeah,
and it had we both liked that chick, the Michelle. What is her last name?
I didn't. I never watched
Tretcha Bird.
I never watched
Buffy
the Vampire Slayer. So
but she was in something you watched. Mm-hmm. How did you know her? Just from this?
I didn't. Yeah, just from this. The only thing I've ever seen her in.
Well, you thought she was hot too, then clearly.
Oh yeah.
I swear that I remember you and I going to.
Course, yes, because I have eyeballs. Anyway,
everyone in that fucking movie should have, because clearly she's the hottest girl in the room, any room she's in.
But how many times would you say you saw this movie as a teen?
A lot.
Yeah, me too.
Well, back then, dude, we used to rewatch movies all the time. You'd find it funny.
You didn't have. I couldn't watch a
million selections. Yeah,
and this is one of the DVDs that we were like, "Oh, we have that. Let's watch it. It's funny."
Yeah.
And then you find a movie and you show it to your friends and you show it to your cousins.
Right.
You go through the list of people you show a movie to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you off the thing because I don't want you to be held to it. I have a movie that I used to think was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And my friends would always.
You gotta tell us now.
Okay, even when it came out, they thought it was terrible. And and I don't like this dude as an actor, as a person. By the way, I think he's a garbage human being. But the hot chick with Rob Schneider in high school, I used to think this movie. I used to think it was fucking hilarious, and I made some of my friends watch it at my birthday party one year, and they and this is when it was new. And this is when it was new, and they hated it, and I was like, "No, this is hilarious."
Tyler, this idiot with his terrible judgment has already gotten 1/5 of the way to making an alphabet.
Exactly. I have 2 words, 6 letters already. I already have 6 letters.
He just wrote words that are squiggly.
8, 16, 20. I only need 2 more letters to have 8.
He wrote I.
Have you ever heard Rob Schneider? Very, very quickly.
Oh, he's an asshole.
No,
dude.
he's
He is
the
the
worst,
worst.
dude. That show he
Yeah.
had on Netflix, man. I watched.
I'll
one
have to tell
episode.
you some stories off the air I know about him from like my Drew and Mike days, because like, dude, he's a garbage human being, dude.
Let's
I mean,
let's get out of here. Let's get out of here
yeah,
while we're here.
we'll talk about it later.
Okay. So next
Rob Schneider,
week-
come on here and defend yourself.
yeah, we would love
if
it.
he hears this, he will
You can be a
actually
recurring character.
legitimately
That's
care
why
about
I'm
it.
saying it. He's that egotistical. So
Yeah,
know.
you weak bitch. Get on this
Yeah.
fucking
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Come
on
talk
here and
shit.
say the first funny thing you've ever said.
Yeah, I challenge you.
Yeah.
We all challenge you.
Make me
I
laugh
mean,
for the
I
first
count
time.
things he said funny things, but in my opinion, those funny things have been written by other people. So
Yeah.
it depends on what you describe as.
You
Anyway.
can
Okay,
do it,
so
it's not
next
funny.
week, next week, we're
Oh.
doing Eric
Yeah.
Fady.
I'm gonna do
is doing
another-
an episode.
Gonna do another game show style thing. It's not necessarily I'm
Woot
gonna do
woot.
this. I'm not necessarily gonna do this every time, but it is something I've kind of tapped in. I've been
I
watching
really like 'em.
some recent things on Conan, like late night from back in the day, and Conan and Letterman, and it reminded me how much I used to love that shit when it's just kind of off the wall weird shit. So my thing next week is basically gonna be titled "80s Game Show," and I'm not gonna say now, but there's gonna be it's gonna be a combination of a few game shows, and someone's gonna win a bunch of things
down.
again. So
And
record
maybe
all
Scott
these
can take it
things,
from
Eric.
me, the
I'm a
reigning
baller.
champion
yeah,
of,
I'm a baller.
of the games.
Yeah, right. So that's next
Eric
week.
even failed at rigging it. He said the wrong number.
Right. Well, nonetheless.
Doesn't matter. Reigning champ.
Right.
No. Okay,
There's
so
an
guys,
asterisk by that bell.
thank you guys for checking out the Two Hippies, One Drunk podcast. Again, this is your host, Tyler. We do this show every week. If you guys want to help us out, like we said at the beginning of the show, if you could give us a review and 5 stars on iTunes and show that to us, you get a free drawing or a tarot reading from Scott. Honestly, the best way you can help us is giving us those ratings and reviews and sharing our content. If you see our stuff on Facebook, if you see it on anything, if you share that, if you tell some friends that you like this stuff and tell them check it out, that's the best way. Also, Eric doesn't know how to make languages.
These
Have
are
a
2
good
more
night.
letters. So I'm 8 letters
Have a
in.
good
So
night.